This week of 2024 is definitely the most critical moment of the year. Three major events may profoundly affect the global situation, no matter how busy. Everyone better pay close attention to these three things. The first is the US election. The world is paying attention to. This time the intensity is comparable to Mars hitting the Earth. The battle between Trump and the Democrats. I'm nervous enough already. And the meeting of the Federal Reserve added to the fire. Directly made the global economy uneasy. Focus this time. Will the United States have its first female president? Or is Trump making a comeback? Climb to the top again after 4 years. The least impact of elections is not just in the next few years, more likely to change the next 5-10 years. The course of America. It will even go down in history, because this is the most uncertain president in American history. The election winning and losing is crucial for both parties. No one can afford to lose. Trump. Why do you say he cannot afford to lose? His main supporters are the bottom white group. The redneck class of America. They used to be blue-collar workers with good incomes. But with the wave of globalization, a large number of factories moved abroad. They lost their jobs. Imagine the Democratic promotes a more open immigration policy, as more immigrants enter the United States, and the Democratic Party can be legalized. The Republican Party's opt-in jumped advantage in some key swing zones, and the influx of immigrants. It also further compresses the living space of these local white people. In the past few years, the conflict between white and ethnic minorities in the United States is becoming increasingly. The more obvious it comes. He proposed the return of manufacturing, combat illegal immigration. The core is to protect the interests of local white people. If he can win, white voters can relax a little. But if he loses, it can make them lose hope completely. It's not impossible to spark conflict. Don't forget, the scene of the 3 riots in Congress 4 years ago is still in sight. The situation is even more tense now. A quarter of Americans believe if the election results are unsatisfactory, there could even be a civil war. And there is no retreat on the Democratic side, because once Trump chooses carefully, current policies may be completely subverted. Whether it is the Russia-Ukraine conflict or the Middle East, or Sino-US relations, will attract many uncertainties. For example, the Russia-Ukraine conflict involves European interests. The Middle East has moved to Israel's powerful These areas have changed a lot. Iran's policy could be in serious opposition to the establishment. In other words, even if he comes on stage, there are lawsuits and impeachment. In this context, the election results could really change a lot of things. The second thing is the Federal Reserve interest rate meeting on November 7. Everyone is concerned about whether to cut interest rates by 25 basis points, still 50. Market generally expects. The probability of 25 basis points is as high as 95.7, basically settled. But why is everyone still focusing on 50 basis points? Because a drop of 25 means the Fed is going to take its ocean currents have room for adjustment. And if it's 50 basis points, that is to make up your mind to cut interest rates quickly. Trump has said, if he is elected, we'll cut interest rates quickly. May reduce interest rates from 5 to 2 in a very short period of time, even lower. A similar situation occurred in 2020. At the time, the Federal Reserve's zero interest rate policy let my country's stock market and property market rise. That's why everyone cares so much. The reason for this Fed meeting. Of course, my country's asset prices. In the end, it depends on our own policy adjustments. But the Fed's move also serves as an important reference from November for today. From the time point of view, the results of the U.S. election were released on November 6. The Federal Reserve's interest rate meeting was finalized on November 7. Immediately after November 8, the final decision of our meeting came out. The entire timeline is clear. The logic behind it is not complicated. We will follow the direction of U.S. Consider different responses. After all, this is a global society. No one can stay alone. So, the US election and the Federal Reserve's decision-making are unusually fond of being settled. We'll know what to do. What kind of stimulus measures are introduced? Wait until these measures are introduced. How big is the impact? Look at the market conditions before and after the national day and you can see at a glance. After the release of third quarter GDP growth, we must step up our efforts in the fourth quarter, especially in terms of employment and income recovery. These are all issues that need to be solved next. So, Don't think that just because your monthly salary of $3,000 has nothing to do with these things. These three major events are closely related to your income. Friends who want to make money, be sure to pay close attention to these major news. Otherwise, the God of Wealth will not be able to help you when he comes.